What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Central Florida Fisherman. I'm Chad. Today we're going to be doing a little maintenance here on the boat trailer. So we have the Action Craft, and for all you saltwater guys, you know I took the wheel off already. Everything gets wrecked in this saltwater. Now this trailer needed new springs when I bought it. I didn't put new springs on it because they weren't too bad, you know, they're just rusty and everything's kind of, I don't know, just deteriorating. So all these saltwater guys, you know, you're going to need to cut the bolts off. The freshwater guys, they get their impacts in there and pull their bolts off. It's not that easy when it comes to our trailers. You're cutting this stuff off. So today, I'm going to run you through on how to replace the leaf springs on your saltwater boat. You got the Action Craft, got it all cleaned up. I just had a gas leak problem. It wasn't a gas leak problem. I thought I may have had a hole in my tank, but it was just where the fitting comes down inside the gas fill snapped off level with the top of the aluminum tank. So I had to replace that, got that all fixed up, and just getting stuff ready for summertime because it's going to be hot and we're going to be out on that water. So we have our DeWalt grinder here with our cutoff wheel. That's what we're gonna end up cutting all this stuff off and getting all new parts and putting all new parts back on there. Just makes it easier, and then we'll be good to go for a few years here, maybe 10, who knows. I've ran this trailer for, man, it's probably been 8 years, 9 years, but it's time. It needs replaced. So let's get at it. All right, so with the rim off, we can see here, I got 2 jacks. I got one to hold up the frame of the trailer, and I'm gonna have another one I'm gonna jack up here to hold the axle up. You don't want this cutting and the axle falling, and so it's always a good idea to have 2 jacks or 1 jack. Jack up the trailer, get your tire off, put a jack stand under there, and then get the other jack. Hey, hey, what are you barking at? Knock it off. These dogs are ridiculous. She saw something out there at the end of the road. But that's how we're gonna do it. So we'll get this jacked up, get some pressure and just a little tension on the axle, and then start cutting off all these nasty U-bolts. Look at that. Look how bad that is. And then this is a loop eye spring, so it's got a loop eye underneath there. It doesn't have a double eye. Hey, come here. Now tell everybody you're sorry for being loud. Tell everybody you're sorry. Noisy dog. But come here, stay here now. But let's get to cutting here. We'll get her cutting, get her glasses on. You got your safety glasses? You got your safety glasses? You better get them on. You're gonna need them. And get this stuff cut out, and then we'll go get our new springs. All right, so I got safety glasses. You always wanna have safety glasses on while you're cutting this stuff. All right, Tiny, come on, get out of here. bolt. It just crushed my finger. Well, that one was a little trickier. That bolt is welded inside. That shock would not come out of there. Well, I just crushed my finger pretty good. I'm so hot and sweaty. So one thing I can say is if you're gonna do this in the winter time. Preemptively get your stuff done so that you're not out here in the summertime dying. I mean, it's 90 some degrees today and it is hot, real hot. We got them out. I got both of them out. Let me show you the difference here between the old one and the new one. And I mean, you can see the difference from the new one to the old one. I mean, this is like super thin and wore down. So the fourth springs broke off on this side. And I mean, these are just wore down to nothing. I mean, look how thin that is compared to what it's supposed to be. Look at that. It's like nothing. So I mean, when it gets to this point, this should have been done a while ago. And it's a lot more labor intensive than what I thought it would be. I thought it would come out a lot easier when I'm cutting them bolts off. I didn't expect them to be jammed in there and locked in there. But crushed my finger pretty good. I know that thing's gonna turn purple. I'm gonna have to relieve the pressure out of that later. That fingernail's already turning purple and swelling up. But we'll get a video of getting them put back on. But if you're gonna do it, I mean, it's doable. You just gotta put the time in to do it. I wouldn't pay nobody to do this. I'll tell you that much. It's not that hard. It's just you run into these problems when it comes to bolt corrosion and salt water. And I watched a few videos online just to see what people had out there, and everybody's doing freshwater trailers and they're taking their impact and pulling the bolts right off. Yeah, we ain't doing that here in Florida, unless you're just fishing the marsh out there and running a freshwater boat. But 9 out of 10 people that have freshwater boats also have saltwater boats, so it's a whole different animal when it comes to the salt water and the corrosion. I'm gonna get a drink, I'm gonna cool off. I am absolutely soaking wet, like from head to toe soaking wet. And we're gonna get this spring back in and get that action craft on the road. I'll see you guys in just a minute. All right, I got a drink, grab this parts kit out. I wanna show you guys these parts that you're gonna need for this kit here. So we got the new spring, went with a 4-leaf, which is a little overrated for what I needed for this flats boat. It's a little heavier than what needs to be on there, but it's what was on there and it's what I'm putting back on there. So we have an axle kit. So I have a 2x2 axle. My axle's 2 inches by 2 inches. So that's what these shackles are, and that's what goes up underneath. This goes on top over that nut. We can open it up here. Let me open it up. So that goes on top, and this goes around the axle, and then the bolts go on and cinch everything right up to the axle. So you get the plate, you get the 2 U-bolts, you get 4 lock washers and 4 nuts. Also, with this kit, you're going to need this little plastic guide that sits inside there. New bolts, that goes through that. This is what we cut off. Goes through that, through there, and then nut on the other side. And same with this little end here. This one goes through there, bolted in, nut on the other side. So that's everything you're gonna need to do these springs, and a whole box of grinder blades, cutting wheel blades. Whew. But let's grab this stuff. We'll head over here to the boat, we'll clip this down, and we'll get this started to be put together. I gotta bend that bracket back in there first though, because I had to bend it apart to get that out. So let's get that done. I mean, look how bad this is the old U-bolts and the plate, and I mean, that is ridiculous. Look how bad they were. I should have never let it get this bad. Don't let your trailers get this bad. I just am constantly going. Been thinking about doing this now for a while, and it came to the point now I want to run up to Mosquito Lagoon to fish, and I got a bug on the lens right there. You see it? I want to run up to Mosquito Lagoon to fish, and I didn't feel comfortable towing it up there with these springs on there. I wanted to have new springs on it. I got brand new tires on it. I wanted brand new springs. So let me show you how to put these back together. We're going to take this little bushing, we're going to put it up inside of here. this bolt in there. Lock nut. And I'm going to get a bolt out of here. Now that one started. Now I'm going to spin this camera around. This is the side that gave us trouble. This sucker here, see, it sits inside of here. That bolt was wedged in there and I could not get that bolt out from in there, so I had to bend these out. I got them bent back now, but what a mission. So I'm going to get another one of my galvanized bolts with a nut and a lock washer, and we're going to put this up. Set those on the axle, those nuts. You see where I even cut a little gap out of my fender here just to get the punch in there, thinking that I could get it to come loose, but it wasn't happening. So there is a bottom hole, and I think these are made for if you have a double axle. This is where your other piece will connect to, I believe. I'm not sure how that works or what that's for, but if you see that, mine were in the top, I'm putting them back in the top. Lock nut, lock washer, and regular nut. All right, that's set in there now. And we'll tighten that up here in a minute. Now what we're gonna do, is get this put back together here. So we know we have a hole here in the axle. I'll put a picture up right here. See this hole? This is the hole that sits in the axle, that on the bottom of this spring there's a little tab that fits into this hole. So we're going to jack this up because we have two jacks. And you may have to manipulate this axle to get it to line up with that hole a little bit. I just put a little bit of pressure on it to where that when I pull, it clicks down in. Now we can start putting our U-bolts on. So this little hole lines up with the nut on the top of the spring. This is going to go up through. Lock washer, nut. Same thing. Lock washer, nut. So we're gonna get on these guys first. I'm gonna tighten them down good. Now we can come in here and tighten these guys down. And I try to tighten these in different patterns. That's it. Now let's put our wheel back on. And that's going to wrap it up. Now the problem I was having was my wheel was rubbing through my fender because my springs were that compressed. Look at this. My wheel was rubbing through here. Look at the distance I got in there now. I mean, I can fit my whole hand in there. It's crazy that that wheel was the whole way up here, because that's how low the springs were sitting. I mean, I got to replace a fender now, but it just goes to show you that's how wore out my springs were, that the wheel was rubbing through the fender. Crazy. But we got it done. They're put on, tires are on. I mean, the trailer's actually sitting, well, you probably can't tell on the video, but the trailer is actually sitting higher now. I can tell. It's like it's up. It's a lot more of a stance to it. That's how you do it. It's not easy when you're dealing with salt water, but it's not impossible. Just takes some blood and sweat and a little bit of grinding. But that's it. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Until the next video, I'm out.